Alright, we're here on part 2 or day 2 of solving a right triangle. What we're going to be using now is inverse trigonometry. So that's a little -1 in your calculator. If you remember, it's typically either above or next to the sine, the cos, and the tan button. So just as a brief refresher, we have SOHCAHTOA. The S stands for sine, the C stands for cos, and the T stands for tan. And some of you may see it written like this: sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tan is opposite over adjacent. We're going to be using this again to solve the right triangle, and we're going to be using some more Pythagorean theorem as well. But just to keep in mind, just to reiterate, what does solve mean? It means find all three sides and all three angles. Okay, so you're not done solving the right triangle until you've found every single side and every single angle. So the way I like to solve these is we're not given any angle measures here except the 90 degrees, but we are given two sides. And we know how to find the third side of a right triangle, which is just a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So that's probably the easiest way to start, by using the 7 and the 11. And remember, those are the legs of the triangle, so that's going to be my a and my b. So I'm going to do 7 squared plus 11 squared, and that's going to help me find my hypotenuse, which is the c squared. 7 squared is 49, 11 squared is 121, and when you add those together you get 170 equals c squared. Remember, we don't care what c squared is. What we have to do is square root both sides. And so that since we're going to use trig, you know you're going to get decimals when you use SOHCAHTOA, so I'm going to just do this in the calculator instead of simplifying the radical, since all my answers are going to be in decimals anyway. Gives me 13.04. So that is my third side here, which is 13.04. I'm going to label that before I go any farther. Okay, so what I need to do now is I need to find these two angles. I need to find angle A and I need to find angle B. And it doesn't matter which one you want to find first. I'll probably find angle B first, just because I want to. You could find angle A if you wanted to as well. Doesn't matter. So what I like to do is put a swoop around angle B, and I'm going to label my H, my O, opposite angle O is this, or angle B, and my adjacent side is this one. And again, like I always tell my students, just in case I made a mistake with Pythagorean theorem finding the 13.04, I definitely want to use those two sides that the book or the worksheet or the quiz or the test gave me, the 7 and the 11, because I know those are correct, and I don't want the whole problem to be wrong if I messed up my Pythagorean theorem. So I'm going to use the 7 and the 11 first, and that's with my O and my A. So going back up to SOHCAHTOA, the one that uses O and A is tan. So my equation is going to look like this. Tan of angle B, because that's what I'm looking for. I don't know what this degree measure is, so that's why I'm just putting B in, because that's what I'm trying to solve for. Equals O divided by A, so 7 divided by 11. And remember how to get B out of the tan. In order to get B by itself, you have to use that inverse button, tan -1, and that's what you type into your calculator. And usually when you hit a sine, a cos, or a tan, your calculator will open up a parenthesis, so make sure the 7 and the 11 are inside the parentheses, and then close it on the outside. So when you inverse tan 7 divided by 11, close parenthesis, you end up with 32.47 degrees. And that's what goes right in there. So that's the second thing I had to find. There's only one more thing I have to find, and that's the third angle measure. And now that we have two of the angle measures, you know that all three of them are supposed to add up to 180 degrees. So you can just do 180 minus 90 minus this degree that we just found, 32.47. And you end up with angle A equaling 57.53, and again, that's because you know all the angles in a triangle should add up to 180 degrees. So we started out using Pythagorean theorem to figure out our missing side, which in this case was our hypotenuse, and then you swoop one of the angles that you need to find and use SOHCAHTOA to figure it out, making sure that you use the inverse button in order to figure out the degree measure. And then after you find that degree measure, you just subtract the 2 degrees you now have from 180 degrees, and that gives you your leftover angle. So there's an example down here for you to try on your own, and your teacher can pause the video and then you can check your answers with the screen once you're finished. Okay, so check your answers up here with mine. Remember, the first thing we do is we use Pythagorean theorem with the 4 and the 10. And after doing that, I found my missing side, and that is 9.17. That should be the first thing that you have written down. After that, what I did is I labeled I swooped my angle here of angle A. Some of you might have wanted to find angle B first, and that's fine. But I did angle A, so if you did angle A, then you should have written cos A equals 4 over 10, because it's A divided by H. And then remember, in order to find that degree measure, you have to do the inverse button in your calculator, and for that I got 66.42. And then after you have that angle measure, you're almost finished, because you have the 90 degrees, and you now have this angle measure, so you have to subtract both of those from 180 to figure out what angle B is. And after that I found 23.58. So make sure you have your hand raised and you ask your teacher any questions if you didn't get any of these answers correct.